And we will go ahead and get started. So we're going to talk about some holiday marketing tips and ideas today. There are about 20 of them. I'm going to get in the weeds on a few of them, but then probably for the most part, I'm going to gloss over a few. And again, if you want to talk in more detail about any of them or how that might work for your particular business or product or service or any of that sort of thing, we can do that when we're done and get into the chat questions and that sort of things. So let's start off with the number one thing. And this is always my number one thing pretty much for any webinar that I do that's marketing related, social media related. It is the easiest, most effective way that you can market your business. And in a lot of ways, it's also the most cost effective way. But partner up. Team up with another business that shares your customer base. And it doesn't even have to be your customer base from the perspective that they're identical customers. So for example, you could have a business, and I'll use Brian as an example at Marlowe Motors. He's got a broad customer base. So there are people from all walks of life that are buying new cars, buying SUVs, buying minivans, buying all of those things. So he could literally partner up with coffee shops. He could partner up with art studios. He could partner up with Michelle at the library. You can partner with a wide range of different types of businesses, with nonprofits. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in a second. But the benefit of partnering up is that you get to share your audience via emails, social media. It gives you a double bang for your buck. And the way that you could partner up, a number of different ways. You could offer a deal or a giveaway when something is purchased at either of the businesses. An example that I'll use is several years ago when Herb used to or still owned Main Street Daily Grind. We did a partner up situation with Rick Novak at Royal Cinemas and Royal Amusements over at the bowling alley. And anytime someone at the bowling alley would roll, what do they call them? A turkey, I guess, is where you get 3 strikes or 4 strikes in a row. They got a card for a free coffee at the Daily Grind. And then whenever somebody came to the Daily Grind and they ordered a particular drink, and Rick would decide what the drink was, or Herb would say, hey, this is our best seller. So if you want to give away the most things, then choose this drink. So somebody would come in and for example, order a mocha. When they ordered a mocha, they got a coupon for a free game of bowling. Quick, easy things to do that gets that coffee shop customer into the bowling alley and that bowling alley customer into the coffee shop. So think about what businesses are around, what you have that you could offer them, and what they have that you could then offer to your customers that you think would be of benefit to them. You can do something as simple as setting up a product display in each of the businesses. City National Bank does a phenomenal job with this, where they give a portion of their lobby up to their customers to promote their businesses. You could do something very similar to that throughout the holidays, where maybe you partner with a nonprofit or you partner with another business and they put some products up, or maybe they offer gift baskets and they have a sample of the gift basket. You can do giveaways, and we're going to talk about giveaways and contests in a little bit more detail in a few minutes as well. But partnering up with other businesses and other nonprofits is probably the easiest, again, and most cost-effective way to be able to market your business and get new customers in the door during the holidays. So the next thing that you can do is offer in-store wrapping services. And this isn't ideal for everyone. Michelle, it would be really cool to do for you at the library because you've got so much space there to do it. But you could offer that to someone if you have a retail store. You could offer it or make it a fundraiser. Several years ago, Kelly Walker, when she had she still has the studio, but I believe it was Delilah's at the time. It was before she had converted it to the studio. She did a wrap day and provided all of the wrapping paper, the ribbon, the tape, the scissors, everything that you needed to wrap your Christmas gifts. And you could come into Delilah's at the time and pay $10, I think it was. And you could sit at the big table and you could wrap all of your presents using her stuff. Or you could drop things off and Kelly would wrap them and then you would come back and pick them up. And that $10 donation that you were making, Kelly used to give to the Warren County Humane Society, the Humane Society of Warren County. So you can do some sort of a fundraiser where you make it a fun event. Again, something we're going to talk about again in a second, but you can make it a fun event and also turn it into a fundraiser. And everybody uses gift bags now. I'm a big fan of wrapping presents. So it would be really cool to be able to do a throwback and offer some sort of in-store wrapping services. That's always a fun thing to get people in the spirit and get them in the door to your business. So I mentioned this a little bit ago, having a contest. So you can do a contest in any number of ways. You can have a contest that's in person where they have to come into your store, your shop, or your business, or you could just do one on social media. So if you do something on social media, you could do something really interesting where you create a caption contest. You post a picture and then you ask everyone to caption that particular photo. And then you choose the best caption. Maybe you get your staff involved and they pick what their favorite caption is. And then that particular person wins something. One of the things when I did this webinar for the Luray Page Chamber a few weeks ago, we had someone on the screen with us that had a retail business. And one of the things that I had suggested to them was to have people come into the store and shop for themselves and take pictures of things they would like. It's kind of a twist on the wish list, but take pictures of things that they would like and say they sold candles. Take a picture of their favorite candle or their favorite scent and post it on their personal Facebook page and tag their friends and say, hey, Tammy, Nikki, Michelle, if you're looking for something to get me for Christmas, this is exactly what I want. They check into the store. It gives you so much more traction on social media. And then as an added bonus, maybe once a week, you go through that feed and you look and see who's tagged what, and you pull that product and you give it to them as a Christmas gift. Costs you very little. The social media part of it costs you zero, but then they're going to go back on their social media. They're going to talk about how you gave them this gift, and that's going to increase the traffic and get more people to come in, if for no other reason, because they're hoping that maybe you'll choose them and give them a free something or another that you have in the store. You can do in-store contests like the gingerbread house contest. Again, this was something we did for quite a few years when Herb had Daily Grind, and we invited the public to create their own gingerbread houses. We had a few of the kits that we had picked up on clearance the year prior at Target or Walmart, and people could come in and get a kit, or they could build one on their own. And they would build these elaborate, some of them were pretty elaborate gingerbread houses. And then we put them all on display for a couple of weeks, and people would come into the coffee shop and there were ballots in front of each of the different gingerbread houses. So people would fill out the ballot that had their name, their email address, always very important to capture an email address. And then they would choose whichever one of the houses they thought was the best and put it in the jar in front of that particular house. And then at the end of the contest, we would pull a winner from each of the houses and give them a prize, in addition to the prize that the person who made the gingerbread house would get. So there was a first, second, and third place prize based on the number of votes that each of those houses got. The person who made that gingerbread house got whatever that prize was. And then we did a free coffee to everybody who came in and voted. So it's a simple, easy way. People would come into Daily Grind multiple times a day to vote for their family member's house or their friends' houses. But it also brought a lot of people in off the street because we had them on display in the window. So they would at least come in because they wanted to see what they look like, and it drew them into the store. So if you can do something like that, that's always ideal, because what you want is people walking through the door. You don't want them walking by saying, oh, that's cute. So you always want to try and do something that's going to drive that traffic into your store. You can do that with coloring contests. You can create a bingo card, and people can play bingo when they come in and order any type of a product or service. If they come in and say a magic word, you can do trivia contests, ugly sweater contests. There are tons of different types of contests that you can put on in your business, regardless of what kind of business you have, service or product based. So I mentioned a minute ago about events. The other thing that you can do, and this has kind of become a little more popular these days because everybody likes to feel like they're a VIP. And we have a lot of the streaming programs. I'll use those as an example, where you can get the basic streaming program and you get the ads and all that sort of thing. A lot of people will pay the extra amount of money to not see the ads, but because it's a status thing, as crazy as that sounds. And you can create this VIP event where you announce that you're having this event. Customers have to register in order to attend this event. They don't have to be anybody special. They don't have to buy anything special. This is just an event where you're inviting them to an afternoon, a morning, or an evening event that's in your store, that's at your business. And during that event, you offer specials and deals that are only for them and only for that event. So what that does is it gets you, again, email addresses. It gets people coming in the door and you asking them if they would like to be a VIP. Who's going to say no to that? It makes them leaving thinking, oh, they asked me to be a VIP. This is a really cool shop, because it just checks a lot of boxes. This is another opportunity where, again, you can partner up with other businesses. So if you decide to create a VIP event, maybe you get this business that you've partnered with on other things to also be there at that VIP event that night. Maybe you tell them, hey, let's do this VIP event together. This is what we're going to do to grab email addresses and have at our event. They can do the same thing. And maybe you go back and forth between the businesses. Maybe one business sets up in the other business if it doesn't have as much space as the other. But it's a great way, again, to partner up and to get people in the door for this VIP event and offer them specials or deals, discounts, coupons, all of that sort of thing. And then take lots of photos. This is where a lot of businesses fall down when they have these really great ideas and they do these really great events, is they don't take photos. They get caught up in dealing with the event that evening. And then the event is over and they're like, man, I didn't get any photos of anybody having fun, enjoying their drinks, eating food, doing any of that kind of stuff. So always try to have somebody designated as your photo taker so that you have photos at the end of an event like that. The next thing that you can do is create a holiday loyalty program. And what I usually tell businesses is a lot of people have these types of programs. And again, I keep using Herb at Daily Grind. I have no idea what Daily Grind does now, but Herb had it going on when he owned the Main Street Daily Grind. We had a loyalty program that wasn't necessarily a holiday loyalty program, but we had the little punch card. So if you came in and you got 6 drinks in a row, your 7th drink was free. It's very simple to create a loyalty program that only runs during the holidays. And maybe you kick it off and it runs November and December. And whatever it is that you're giving them for being that loyal customer in that November, December timeframe, they cash it in January or February. So a lot of businesses sometimes will do these programs and then they encourage people to use those discounts or use whatever they're giving them for being a loyal customer in November and December. Well, typically November and December isn't when you have to beg too terribly bad for customers to come into your store, ideally. January, February, and March, as all small businesses know, is really, really tough to get people to come into their store. Their budgets are tighter because they probably overspent during the holidays. The weather is a factor. There could be snow on the ground, all of those different types of things. So if you're going to do any kind of a loyalty program centered around the holidays, have a holiday spin to it, but make it redeemable in January to get those businesses or those people to come back in the door in first quarter, not necessarily in fourth quarter when ideally you're already busy. The other thing that you can do, and this is one of my favorite things, and I recommend all businesses do this all year round, is to give back. Team up with a nonprofit. And I say that with the caveat that don't just go out and randomly pick a nonprofit. A lot of people will just say, oh yeah, we're just going to give to something that maybe isn't even that local. You really want to pick something that relates to your business or something that you personally support. So if you are the small business owner and you are very passionate about serving the homeless population, then reach out to Michelle Smeltzer at the Thermal Shelter. Reach out to House of Hope and say, I would like to do some sort of a partnership with you. What do you need? How can we help? What would work for you? Offer a percentage back on purchases that you're going to give to the nonprofit. Accept donations. Michelle and I were chatting for a minute or two before we started the presentation about Camping for Hunger. The River 95.3 does a Camping for Hunger program every single year. I think this is its 14th year. Do some sort of a food drive or get on board with that particular fundraiser and offer to be a drop-off location so that businesses can come in, drop off a can of food, and maybe you give them something. Maybe it's 10% off shopping in the store that day. Maybe it's a free dessert with purchase. Maybe it's some sort of gift card or something along those lines. Or you just say, hey, everything that you spend from November 1st through December 31st, we're going to take 10% or 15% of that, and we're going to give it back to XYZ nonprofit. And there are a ton of well-deserving nonprofits in the Front Royal Warren County area. So it's not that difficult to find a good one that also is going to be your partner in other ways. So you're going to be able to go to them and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. Have in-store displays showing that nonprofit what they do, how they do it, who they serve, and then also ask them to share the social posts that you're doing, saying, bring in this can of food, come in this day and spend X number of dollars. The more of a wider audience, the larger net that you can cast, the more successful that's going to be, not only for you, but for that nonprofit. And at the end of it, what you really want to be able to do is show the community how much money or how they helped this particular nonprofit, and you were just the conduit. So keep those kinds of things in mind. Another easy thing to do is create a gift guide. We see those come out in a lot of the local newspapers, or we have in previous years. And it's very simple to create a gift guide. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate. It doesn't have to be a book. It doesn't even have to be 10 or 12 pages. It can be a one-sheet flyer that you put together, and you look through your business. And if you have products, break down your products by age, by gender, by interest. If you have a service or something, do the same thing, and just do a quick one-up flyer that shows all of the different things that you could give to school teachers, to your mailmen, to the neighbor down the street, to the uncle who has everything, or even those of us that stock up on a couple little tchotchke gifts, because we never know when somebody that we know, but we don't know that well, shows up at an event and says, here, I got this for you. And now you're just staring at them like, crap, I have nothing. So having this little stash of gifts is great. I always like to choose things that I like, so that if that doesn't happen to me, I have a stash at the end of the holidays that I get to keep for myself. But you can choose products that have a discount or are generic enough for anybody to give. A lot of us are busy, and giving gifts is a hard thing to figure out. So having this already done when I walk into your store, I have a niece to buy for that's 12, and this is great for kids 12 and younger. It just makes it a whole lot easier and a lot more likely that they're going to purchase from you when they come into your store. And then, of course, participate in other activities. Nikki mentioned a minute ago about the Merry Market at Jingle Bell Junction, which I love that. That is genius. If you have a business that is able to participate in activities like that, if you have a small business that sells a product or a product of some sort, go to these vendor fairs, be active at different church bazaars, even if you're just taking a small sampling of products, but then you can drive people back to your store to see more. So you take a limited supply of what you have and then tell them, oh no, we have 14 other varieties back at our store. Being more active and being more seen in the community, especially during the holidays, is going to carry throughout the rest of the year. So if you can participate in church bazaars and craft fairs and vendor fairs, absolutely, and participate in Small Business Saturday. That is the biggest part of the holiday marketing tips that I can give you. Is if you are a small business and there is any kind of a Small Business Saturday promotion going on through your chamber, through your business association, through any of those kinds of things, absolutely be involved and let people know that you're participating in any of those other activities. And then sometimes people run amok with, well, I don't know what to do. I have a service-based business. I don't really sell a product or service, so it's more difficult for me to be able to get customers in the door. So spin it around and be educational. Teach your customers either how to use your products and services, or figure out what it is that you think is generic and universal enough that your customers who need your insurance or need any of these other things would also be interested in. So you can do some sort of a workshop or a class that maybe is a cooking demo for making Christmas cookies. If you tailor it around the holidays, it doesn't necessarily have to be tightly aligned with what your business product or service is. Maybe you do recipe cards. Again, you go back to partnering with another business. I know Nikki talks a lot about the bakery that I can't think of the name of right now, and I'm sure she'll tell us when we're done, that she absolutely loves. So maybe you go in and you ask them to do some sort of a recipe for something that they make, and you give those out to your customers when they come in. You put them in the mail, you send out an email blast that has something that shows that this is something that they could use. Anything that you can get your name in front of your customers for that furthers the relationship is always a good thing. And maybe it's you create a class for the day and you invite people in to make Christmas ornaments. Maybe you reach out to Arlene at Explore Art and Clay and say, hey, I want to do something with ornaments. Can you give me a bunch and do some sort of a class at my business, and let people come there to do it? Maybe you sponsor it at her place, but finding something that you can educate people on, whether it's recipes, teaching them how to use your products or services. Again, I'll go back to insurance. Nobody understands how insurance works. Nobody knows if they've got the right coverage. Nobody knows, am I paying too much for my car insurance? Am I choosing the right health plan? All of these things. So do classes and workshops to teach your customers, hey, this probably wouldn't be for you if, or you really need to ask yourself these questions when you're choosing any number of things. So the more educational you can be, the more it solidifies that relationship and gives you more credibility with your customers. And then a few do's and don'ts of holiday marketing. So make sure, do give a real discount. And I say this because I see a lot during the holidays of 10% off. And I got to tell you, as somebody who has a whole clearance walk path at Target, 10% off isn't going to cut it. So a lot of businesses, a lot of restaurants will do 10% off. 10% doesn't even cover the tip in a lot of cases. So if you're going to offer a discount, make it a real discount. Make it something worthy of somebody saying, oh yes, I'm definitely going to make that purchase. A lot of times it doesn't have to necessarily even be a discount. I mentioned restaurants. You could do a free dessert. You could do free refills if you typically have to pay for them. You could add something free that you've already gotten them to pay full price for the other piece of that. Or you could do a buy one, get one half off is in a lot of cases a real discount, because a lot of people will take that full price, take the half price, divide it by 2 and see that they're getting a deal. So if you're going to offer a discount, please make sure that it's an actual real discount. The other thing that you really should do is start now. Actually, you probably should have started about a month ago, but take advantage of the bazillion dollars right now the big box retailers are spending, encouraging people to start shopping early. Amazon Prime had a whole second Prime Day trying to get people to do early holiday shopping. Go ahead and piggyback off of that. Best Buy's doing things. Walmart's doing things. Target is doing things. So ride the coattails of the money that they're spending, programming people's brains to start thinking about the holidays now and have something ready. Even if it's kicking off November 1st, have something that you already have put together for your holiday marketing now. Do not wait until the last minute. Mid-December is not the time to start thinking, I need to do something for the holidays to get customers in here. It's not going to work. You're going to get lost in the shuffle, and too many people potentially will have already made their purchases or made their decisions about what their purchases are going to be. The other thing you should absolutely do is decorate. Put up a tree. Hang some stockings, make your store, your business, any of those things look festive. And the other thing that I'll add is be inclusive with your decor. So make sure that when you're decorating whatever your business is, that you are looking at the broader celebrations of Christmas, that you are looking at all of the different iterations. You're not just pigeonholing yourself into what a traditional Christian Christmas is. Think about, how do people celebrate the holidays in the Jewish faith, all of the other different types of faiths that are out there. Make sure that you're being inclusive with your decor so that you are welcoming everybody to come into your store. A few don'ts: don't over communicate. Don't over email, don't over post, don't overdo it. Don't think that because November and December is here, that now suddenly it's okay, where you may have only had an email blast that went out once a month. Now you're going to send one out every week. No, that's not okay. Every other week, maybe, not every week. Don't suddenly start changing. Say you posted on Facebook once or twice a week. Still a few too many. I think you should at least be posting 3 times a week, but don't suddenly start posting every day. And every day it's a product for sale. Every day it's something that says, come buy this. Make sure that you're being as overall in all of your marketing, and you're not overdoing it and just ramming what you've got down the throats of your customers because it's the holidays. Nobody wants to see that more during November and December than we see it necessarily in April, May, June, or July. Again, don't wait to the last minute. And then the other thing is, don't make major changes. while the holidays are happening. So be consistent with your hours. A lot of people expand their hours during the holidays. That is perfectly fine. But don't suddenly decide that you're going to discontinue a product or that you are going to change your hours and make them shorter than what you would normally. Don't make any long-term changes to your business during the holidays. You want people to be able to come in October, November, and December to your business and expect something better and nicer than maybe what they get the rest of the year because it's the holidays. You don't want them to come in and then find that you've got less of what they're looking for, or they have less time to do it, or any of those kinds of things. So don't make any major long-term changes during the holidays thinking, well, I can sneak this in. Nobody's going to notice that I am changing my hours, or they're going to get rid of this product line, or we're going to take something off the menu. The holidays are not the time to try something new like that. They are the time to add things. Again, make your hours longer, to add new product lines, to get more input from your customers that are coming in, but they are not the time to suddenly decide you're going to be closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. Although, given my experience on Main Street, everybody's already closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. So finally, what I want to wrap up with is share what has worked and what hasn't with fellow business owners. I don't think that small business owners talk to each other enough about what's working and what's not. I think a lot of times everybody gets so caught up in running their business. I think there was a saying somewhere that I had picked up that don't spend so much time working in your business that you have no time left to work on your business. So have conversations with the shop owner next door, with the shop owner down the street, wherever you shop on a regular basis, whether it's a little shop in Front Royal, whether it's somewhere in Luray, whether it's somewhere in Winchester. If there's a place that you go on a regular basis, ask the business owner, so, hey, what kind of holiday things are you doing? I was thinking about doing this. What do you think? The more opinions and the more input that you can get from other small businesses, the more successful you're bound to be in the long run. That being said, I'm done. Questions, feedback? I am, of course, always available for a free consultation. If you want to be on my email blast, I swear I'm not sending more during the holidays. Just throw your email address in the chat.